Last Guardian is finally coming out! Finally coming out! As if The Last Guardian's been delayed to December now. This means I'm in no hurry to get to the Shadow courses, so I thought I'd go crazy and review Kirby's note that comes later. Kirby's Epic Yarn. If you couldn't tell by the fact he's on my Cartoon Characters t-shirt, I own numerous games in the series as well as a plush and amiibo. I have this poster, he's all I tweet about, I made this picture, I decided to review this game out of my own choice, as well as these reasons, then I quite like Kirby. I mean, he's adorable and the games themselves are really fun. Interestingly enough, even though I forgot this fact when I bought the game to make this video, but I actually rented it 3 years ago to review for a website I planned on making. I only played a tiny bit of the game and the website itself never saw the light of day, so in a sense, this video is me tying up a loose end by finishing my first ever review. So yeah, let's do it! I'll go over the story quickly, seeing as it's not a big factor of the game. Basically, this guy called Yin Yang takes over Dreamland and puts Kirby in a magic sock which turns him into wool. He bumps into another Kirby called Prince Fluff and the duo try to stitch the Patchland together and stop Yin Yang. The plot is nothing more than adorable moments and terrible wool-based puns, but they are very adorable moments.
He dived right in and started gobbling up the cake.
And very terrible wool-based puns.
What sort of plan was he stringing together?
Oh ha ha, I'm in stitches. Not every Nintendo game is big on story, and this isn't one of them, but that's okay, as I wasn't exactly expecting a Kirby game to be Stephen King complex, so I'm fine with it. Okay, getting off track here. I should be talking about the really great presentation, because it is really great. Everything's made of fabric, which makes for a lot of creative possibilities, and the developers took advantage of them all, as well as many great gameplay opportunities, which I'll get to. Also, seeing as it's a Nintendo exclusive, the music is great as well. It fits the game perfectly, even if it's not all memorable. If you've played a Kirby game before, you'll know to expect a side-scrolling platformer. However, most Kirby games tend to have some sort of gimmick, and as I said earlier, this game's gimmick is that everything is made of some sort of fabric. Platforming itself is very traditional side-scrolling stuff, but thanks to the art style, it feels very fluid, very similar to something like Infamous Second Son, where simply running around felt so smooth. I've mentioned that game in a couple of my videos before. Really should make a review of it at some point. It also helps in the platforming front, all the creative ideas Goodfeel had. I mean, you actually swing from buttons and pull zips along, thanks to an incredibly nifty string mechanic, which also makes short work of enemies. There's also plenty of simple sections which are really creative, thus making it a lot of fun to play. The controls also help making it a fun experience. They're not perfect, trying to sprint by double tapping the D-pad is often unresponsive, but aside from that, they're mostly problem-free. Towards the end of a good chunk of the levels, Kirby will find a power-up that turns him into things like a spaceship, a tank that fires rockets, Echo the Dolphin, a digger, the list goes on, and they're all very fun. Throughout all levels, Kirby can turn into a car, parachute, and run long pieces of string to navigate very small areas, which is also pretty fun, but not always the best controlling. Yeah. Boss fights are similarly creative. They all have unique solutions and wait a minute. Okay, the tree's in there. It would have been a Kirby game without it. Throughout levels are unlocks such as music tracks and some things to decorate your flat with. Oh right, I forgot to mention, early on Kirby gets his own flat and you can decorate it. Kind of pointless, but if you like that, you should have a good time replaying levels. I'm really positive throughout this review, but I do have a couple of really big issues with this game. The main issue being that it's so damn easy. Honestly, if this game wasn't as creative as it is, it would be dull. There's no real challenge to the game, and it's impossible to die. And I don't mean that in a figurative way. The only punishment falling into a hole or hitting a spike has is that you lose a few gems. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting this to be Dark Souls or anything, but I was at least expecting the final world to be a bit more, well, challenging. Also, it only took 4 hours and 22 minutes to beat the game, and with a £13 price tag for a pre-owned copy, yeah. But with all that said, Kirby's Epic Yarn is a pretty damn good game. It's a little too easy for my taste, but its creative gameplay more than makes up for it, and I have a lot of fun playing through this admittedly short title, and after playing, I kinda want to check out the spiritual successor Yoshi's Woolly World. Anyway, it's a fun game with a wonderful art style which nets a 77%. While not a must-have, consider picking it up if you find it cheap for an overall fun game.